Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuning in from. This is Tasemere, your host with the Blackout Live from New York. Just for folks that are kind of new to this segment, the Blackout Live from New York with me, Tasemere, your host. Purpose is to celebrate Black folks across the diaspora and to have an open dialogue about Black economics, how we reimagine trends in business, and explore the magic that we have. So let's hop right on into it. So, for some folks that have been watching for a while, you know that my chief of staff, aka my creative director, Elijah, has been on strike for a few months. He still is on strike. I've asked him this morning if he was going to participate. He just looked at me. So if you hear Coco de la Melon in the background, that's because that is what he has chosen to focus on this morning. For other people, let's just hop right into it. I am going to do what I started off doing about a year ago, which was reviewing some articles. But if we have some time left over, I'm definitely going to jump into some questions that was posed to me by some of my interns that I think is probably helpful for the general population. So let's jump into the entire thing right here. I wanted to share with you guys this article, and I hope you can see it. But Prince Charles is now saying that it's time to confront the history of slavery. The royal family has never apologized for slavery. So we know that in this day and age, slavery and enslaved Black folks are a hot topic where Black folks from across the diaspora, from across this world, are really demanding some apologies, some reparations, some acknowledgement for their ancestors being captured and enslaved in various parts of the world. And so now we hear the royal family. I wonder if he got this pre-approved, but according to CNN on June 24th, he opened up about Commonwealth heads of government meeting and how he is trying to really apologize for where they fell short at in enslaving Black folks across the different commonwealths that they own. And so here is just a blurb about what he said. The royal family has never issued a formal apology for slavery. Accordingly, there are currently 15 countries that recognize Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. Prince Charles addressed this saying, the Commonwealth contains within its countries that have had constitutional relationships with my family, some that continue to do so, and increasingly those that have had not. I don't know. This must be like old English. I want to say clearly, as I have said before, that each member's constitutional agreement as republic or monarchy is purely a matter for each member country to decide. He went on to say that earlier this year, in a trip to Jamaica, Prince William, Charles's son, described the slave trade as a profound sorrow. And similarly to his father, did not apologize for his ancestors' role in it. Their visit was meant to push back from local protesters calling to move away from the colony's ties to the United Kingdom. And so, as you can see, we have had a lot of discussion around the Black experience and around what is going on. And I think it's amazing, and I think that it's beautiful. One place that I definitely have to shout out is Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I visited there a few years ago and reconnected with some folks from Brazil a few days ago and really expressed how open they are to accepting their role in enslaving Black folks in Brazil and how they pay homage to it and it's not like a dirty little secret that people don't really want to talk about, and how I was really, really moved by that. And I want to just have open dialogue. I feel like dialoguing is the only way to really move the needle for it to find common ground. So I definitely wanted to share that with you guys this morning. Moving on to something that on this side of the pond has been very inspiring for many, many folks is the first Black woman on the Supreme Court. And I have to pronounce her name slowly, so forgive me if I make an error, but Ketanji Brown Jackson was sworn in as first Black woman on the Supreme Court. This just happened a few days ago, and this was monumental in American history, probably impactful around the world, where we finally have a representative person that is Black and female, and she just changed so many lives, has been definitely an inspiration to a lot of people that I have spoken with, and I just wanted to shout her out because I know that her hearing testimony interview that was live for consumption was something that was talked about. And then sometimes we have this way where we talk about a lot of things and then it kind of like dwindles down and you don't hear about it again. So I definitely wanted to shout her out here. That just happened a couple of days ago. In case you didn't know, she is sworn in. Moving on to a new first. Also, let me get the screen up and going. Yolanda Flowers becomes the first Black woman to win the Democratic nomination for governor in Alabama. This is monumental as well. And so as you can see, Black folks are doing it across the world, and I couldn't be more proud and more happy that Black people across the diaspora, no matter how you got here or when you got here, are definitely stepping into their spaces and wanting to contribute to American society in a plethora of ways. And I really feel like in this holiday season that we are in, this is one way that we all can express our views of being inclusive and, you know, really having some nationalism, because, you know, oftentimes we wait for war in order to bring us all together, but we don't have to wait for that, guys. Moving right on along to Florida governor candidate, which they have some really interesting things that are happening here. And you can't talk about the good without talking about the bad, right? And so I definitely wanted to bring this up too. Hey, Michael from Tampa, maybe you have some insight. If you have the tea, definitely let us know in the comments, because I'm not in Florida. So I'm not getting Florida news right now in New York, just the highlights that are happening. So definitely wanted to just bring this to you guys' attention. Let me pull this up so you can see it. Here we go. So once a Florida governor candidate, Andrew, has been indicted. Oh my gosh, we have to like do better. Hey, politicians, let's do better. I briefly glanced at this, but he is being indicted for 21 federal charges, including conspiracy and wire fraud for funneling donations through third parties back to himself for personal use, according to prosecutors. This is grimy. Hey, that's our money that we're giving up. And this is why a lot of folks have a distrust for politics. And I know that that is a topic of discussion where some people feel like across race and across gender and across economic status that people aren't necessarily engaging in the political arena the way that they should, and that people should be doing it. And these are things that when this happens, it kind of leaves a sour taste in folks' mouths where they really don't want to be a part of it and they don't want to know about it because they feel like politicians are the same and they make promises and they don't keep them and they only come around for election term and then they get rich or attempt to get rich and run off with money. And so I cannot talk about the good without talking about the bad because I definitely want to be balanced, right? So, hey, politicians, do better, please. Going into this article that I just came across this morning, and I didn't know about it, and I don't know if you guys knew about it, but Bruce's Beach, LA County approves the return of the property to descendants of Black family. I had no clue that this was what was happening. So what I want to do is click off of this and click back onto this so maybe you guys can hear my audio here. So 1 second so we can learn together. Let's learn together. Come on. I hope that is playing. Okay, I don't know what's happening here.
The County of Los Angeles' Board of Supervisors voting unanimously today to return a piece of beachside property in Manhattan Beach to descendants of a Black family who had the land stripped away nearly a century ago. Supervisor Janice Hahn, spearheading this effort, says, quote, "We can't change the past and we will never be able to make up for the injustice that was done to Willa and Charles Bruce a century ago, but this is a start." The Bruce family purchased the land in 1912, and then the city took it away under false pretenses.
So this is amazing. Not amazing that this happened, but you know, sometimes we lose sight on what's going on. But I think that that is groundbreaking for the family and then for, you know, Black folks in that county to know that that land was owned by Black people, as they said, almost a century ago, that it was taken away and now they are trying to right their wrongs and bring it back. So I think that that is definitely important for us to take a look at. And sometimes we have to dig really deep for the good news that is happening because a lot of news just, you know, continue to bring you down. And I wanted to definitely see what else was out there so that way we can get some understanding. And I'm just wondering, what is this going to do for economics, right? Are they going to start having, never been to that beach, so I don't know if they already have this, but are they going to start having businesses on the boardwalk? Are they going to start doing programming for the beach? What does this mean? What was the connotation for the beach before it's actually being returned to its rightful owners? Will that mean that Black folks are going to feel more comfortable going to the beach? I'm just excited about seeing the developments of what's going to happen with this beachfront now, and really how does that change the trajectory of economic development for that family? Are they going to reinvest some of that money? Like, what is the deal? If somebody can connect me to this family so I can ask all of my questions, that would be super helpful. Now, Kevin Hart, I'm not sure if you know this, but Kevin Hart is opening up a fast food chain. I'm going to call it a chain because I think this is where he's going with it. That is 100% vegan. And wondering what is going on with this. Did you guys know about this also? That it is going to be called Hart House. The eatery will feature a 100% plant-based menu consisting of sandwiches, salads, sides, and drinks. He basically also was able to get the head chef from Burger King on to definitely think about, the layout of his menu. But I am wondering, what does this mean? He definitely, or it has definitely been announced that one of the restaurant locations is going to be in Westchester neighborhood of Los Angeles. And the second location has not been officially announced yet. However, it might be in Hollywood, or it will be in Hollywood. So super, super, super excited about this venture. Wondering if this was in the works pre-COVID, because these things sometimes take a while to come to fruition, or if COVID just helped to expedite or maybe recharge batteries around this project. Super excited about it, wanting to know how is this again going to impact this time workforce development, right? Like that is a definite big factor in economic development. And we are starting to see this field become way more inclusive, way more innovative, and having more equity balance. And so I am interested in what is going to happen with this restaurant, what is going to be different, how many people will it employ? Will this help to keep people in that particular district employed and flourishing? Are there going to be any incentives for people to work there, similar to, Red Lobster and Starbucks, that pays for tuition and has a decent health benefits package? Wondering, like, what does the package look like, and what is going to be the breakdown, and how is that going to impact local economics in that area? So super, super excited. Also, expansion. Where else are you going, Kevin Hart? We need the tea. Are you coming out to New York? Might be pretty pricey. Don't know if the margins will make sense. But hey, look, Chick-fil-A is here, and I think that they're doing pretty well. I like Chick-fil-A. So just wondering, what's going to happen. And moving on to our last article of the day, which is something that I myself have been afraid of since iRobot. So I am definitely, just throwing that out there. Should we worry about AI having emotions? Okay, guys, I am totally scared. People that are close to me know that I have a healthy fear of iRobot taking over and locking us in our homes and doing things to us. And I think we are getting a little closer to this. And let me just say, I definitely embrace technology, but I also think that we are smarter than tech. And sometimes public service announcement, I don't like when my phone tries to think for me. I want to think for myself. I also don't like when I feel like I said something and then I go on IG and bam, there's an advertisement there. Like, I don't always want that. I kind of, I can handle it. And so now with AI, maybe having some emotions, I'm a little nervous about iRobot becoming a real thing. Just saying, not sure if other people agree with me, or if you're down with robots having emotions and being able to make emotional decisions. It frightens me a lot. And I was thinking about getting one of those robots to clean up for, mopping and sweeping the floor. I might have to think twice about that, because maybe they might lock me in my apartment. I don't know what is happening with this AI. But on a serious note, we do know that AI has advanced a lot of functions in our life, especially in medicine, where now you can have different types of procedures done a lot more precisely. And so again, there are balances to what's happening. I think that AI is definitely going to somehow influence our lives even more than it is now. But my question has always been, how do we continue to embrace technology and allow humans to be humans, right? Like what is the balance for that? And how do we move along with the tech? Because we all know if we stop now because we're scared or nervous or just we don't understand what's going on, you will have your skill sets basically eliminated because you haven't been keeping up with the times. So while I have a healthy fear of robots maybe taking over in the future, I will continue to stay updated on what the robots are doing because I know that I'm smarter than them. So those are all my articles for today. I know that that might have went by pretty quickly, but I also wanted to do something fairly new that I never did before on my segment, which is I have gotten some questions submitted to me by my interns, and I thought it would be pretty cool to answer a couple of them during my segment. These questions are William said, iRobot was like, iRobot was a like a how to guide for them to take over. William, I agree. I think it is a how to guide for them to take over. I think all of these new gadgets that you can control your air and you can see who's looking outside and your driveway and you can do all these things. I really think that IA is going to do what all the movies have predicted, and they are going to say that our humanity is flawed and they need to get rid of us. And I just think if I don't have a robot, maybe I won't go first. I know that we always talk about the zombies, but I think the robots are going to take over before the zombies. But that is just my imagination, probably on steroids. Oh, see, William, you are like IA. I'm telling you, this is what the robots are going to be saying. They are definitely going to say, we say that we're humans, but we have like zero empathy at some points in time for other people. And that is true. We lack the ability to empathize with people that don't look like us, don't think like us sometimes. And it really, brings out the worst in humanity. And now that robots are going to be able to have feelings, I'm sure that they're going to pick up on how these things just aren't logical. The rules aren't the rules when they are supposed to be applied to you. And I think that they're going to take over. But getting back to my question here, thank you, William, for entertaining my healthy fear of robots. What could you imagine the Donald Trump robot? No, I cannot. I don't want to. I don't want to reimagine these robots. I mean, this is crazy, guys. I think you should. I'm like halfway joking and halfway serious about these iRobot things, but you should definitely stay on top of all of this because we all have at least one device that has AI capabilities, i.e., our smartphones. I know that I have a Google Home, I have two of them. So we all should be thinking like, what's going to happen when these things get the upgrade and we have to push the update, and now they got feelings, and now they are expressing those feelings to us, and they also have control over things that we use for our daily lives. I'm not quite sure, but I'm just throwing it out there. So I have a few questions here from my interns that I thought might be interesting. I'm not going to answer all of them, but I thought it might be interesting to answer maybe one or two. So one of the questions that was posed was, what is the importance of building a network and why you shouldn't compare your business journey to others? So I will take a stab at this. This is definitely live thoughts. I have not had a chance to write them out and really give a whole lot of thoughts to my responses. So this is just going to be how I truly feel, uncensored. So the importance of building a network. And so let me just say, I have been straying away from the term network because I think that it should be replaced with the importance of building meaningful relationships. And I think that that is like the crux of networking. And so when I go to events or when I meet people and someone doesn't even want to know my name, they just want to give me their business card, or they just want to, you know, throw up on me all of the services or products that they offer, and we haven't even said hi, good afternoon, how are you doing? I don't consider that to be networking. Instead, I consider that to be, someone is just trying to sell something to me. And I know that there's an art to networking, but in my opinion, I think the art is just, again, going back to being human and getting to know people. Not everyone are going to be people that you are going to do business with or that are going to be helpful in getting you that next promotion at this point in time. However, when you invest in networks meaningfully, not a phony, like, let me just stand here and pretend that I'm listening, but engaging with people in a meaningful relationship, you have no idea, while that might not turn into a business relationship, that might turn into a dope friendship, right? Like, you might just develop a bond with someone, or it may turn into a friendship that is also business-esque, right? It might be someone that's like, hey, I'm looking out, I'm going to connect you with this, that, or maybe it's not that at all. And maybe this person just really admires what you're doing and wants to give you access to their network in order to move along. But without this relationship as a foundation, it is really hard to even figure out what you're going to be doing or how you're going to do. So I know that, that's a term that is used a lot, but how I really try to implement networking is really getting to know people, because FYI, I don't want to work with everybody, and everybody doesn't want to work with me, and everybody that I'm friends with, I don't want to do business with. And I need to understand what category I'm willing to place people in. And I also need to understand and accept what category other people are willing to place me in, and be okay with that. And sometimes we both swipe right on each other. And it's amazing when that happens. So that is the answer to that question. And then the next question is, don't compare your business journey to others. So my answer to that is, we all have different talents, admirations, ambitions, whatever you want to call it. And it takes us just different verticals of getting there. And so when we start comparing ourselves to other people, by whatever metric we're using, whether it's how many followers this person has on a social media platform, or how much money do we think someone is making, or how many articles have we seen this person in, we really do a disservice to ourselves. And so I like to say, stay in your lane. I know we use that a lot. Stay on your square is what I also say too. And just, know that your journey is going to be yours, and you can definitely look at other people and, debrief and dissect what you think might be working and how that might be beneficial if you tweak this or if you tweak that, which is okay. That's part of learning, and that's part of what most of us do, right? But there is a difference with this comparison and this competition, because at the end of the day, going back to the first question, you don't know what relationship someone else already has in place, right? You have no idea if one of the reasons why they were able to accelerate as quickly is because they know people, and because people put them on to opportunity. And if you don't know anybody, you have to go and conjure up this opportunity, which is harder to do. So you don't know where someone started in their journey. And in addition to that, you don't know if they have already been informally working in this industry before they launched, right? Like, so oftentimes people launch businesses that are verticals to something that they are adjacent to something that they were already doing. People also launch businesses that have nothing to do with their professional life. It's strictly a hobby, right? In both of those instances, you don't know who that person knows in that space that is willing to offer them space and opportunity to advance. And so when you think that you know what you're looking at, you really have no idea, right? So you need to just stand on your square, admire, look around, say, oh, okay, that's interesting. This person kind of was here or there. Maybe I should be here or there. But how are you going to do it in an authentic way is always necessary. So those are my two questions that I read off. And I kind of like this. So if anyone has a question that they would want to submit to me to kind of, give my opinion about it, I definitely want to talk to you. So I am going to create out loud, I'm creating a banner to put my email address in here. So you can definitely submit your questions to me here, and I will um I will definitely answer them on an upcoming show and or in my IG post. So this is Tasemere, your host of the Blackout live from New York. Loved everything that we talked about today, from the articles that I shared that was eye-opening for me. Some of them were. Some of them I didn't know existed until I started looking up content for today, and then answering these two really amazing questions and my healthy fear of AI. So with that, I will let you get back to your Saturday, if this is the day that you are tuning in. But if not, just your day in general, be great, be amazing, have some empathy, because AI is definitely learning it. So we should also learn it a little bit faster. But definitely go out into the world and into spaces and just be amazing. Talk with you soon.